Welcome to Israel Now News. I'm Rebecca Roberts.
And I'm Yochanan El Rom.
In our top story, the Israeli Air Force shot down an unidentified aircraft that crossed over the border from Syria into northern Israel. The IAF scrambled fighter jets and helicopters which downed the drone, likely of Iranian origin. The UAV was destroyed using electronic warfare over an open area near the Sea of Galilee. This comes after several alleged Israeli airstrikes pummeled Iranian strongholds in Syria, killing 2 high-ranking members of the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps. Israel did not confirm its involvement in the strikes, but Tehran accused the Jewish state and vowed revenge, saying the Zionist regime will undoubtedly receive a response to this crime. The Syrian Observatory for Human Rights confirmed that a weapons facility linked to Iranian-backed militias was targeted, and Al Arabiya reported that the attacks were focused on destroying microchips for missile guidance systems. These sophisticated rockets are paid for by Iran, assembled in Syria, and then transported to Hezbollah in Lebanon on the border with Israel.
The foreign ministers of Greece, Cyprus, and Israel met to discuss Iranian terror, which poses a major threat to Europe. This high-level meeting came just 3 days after Greek authorities foiled a massive Iranian terror plot against Jews and Israelis in Athens. The Israeli Mossad reportedly aided the investigation, which led to the arrest of 2 Iranian nationals. The pair were reportedly planning a mass casualty attack on a kosher restaurant in the Greek capital. Israel's Foreign Minister Yossi Cohen urged his colleagues from Greece and Cyprus to vote to designate the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps as a terrorist organization in the European Union.
Israel has expanded its operating hours at the Allenby border crossing. This checkpoint is about 5 kilometers east of Jericho near the Dead Sea, and it connects to Jordan just an hour's drive from Amman. Known by the Arabs as King Hussein's Bridge, this crossing is the shortest route between the capitals of Jerusalem and Amman. It is mainly used by Palestinians who complained of long wait times to cross into Jordan or back into the Jewish state. U.S. Ambassador Tom Nides has pressured Israel to make the crossing available around the clock. Jerusalem worked to facilitate this request and has opened the border crossing 24 hours a day, 5 days a week.
The United Kingdom's envoy for post-Holocaust issues, Eric Pickles, has convened the first international gathering of Holocaust envoys to raise the issue of unclaimed Jewish property seized by the Nazis during World War II. The inaugural meeting on Holocaust property restitution was attended by more than 29 representatives from 10 countries, including Ellen Germain, the U.S. Special Envoy for Holocaust Issues, and Wesley Fisher, the Director of Research at the Conference on Jewish Material Claims on Germany. Pickles warned that the situation is urgent. 5 million pieces of Jewish property remain unclaimed, while the generation of Holocaust survivors is growing older. He stressed that soon it will be too late to reunite victims with their property, and that in the meantime, auctioneers are profiting from the sale of stolen items.
The Israeli Navy has wrapped up a massive drill involving 5 other nations. Squadron Commander Stephen Gordon explained that the international drill lasted 3 weeks and involved Greece, Cyprus, Italy, France, and the United States. He said this was one of the biggest drills, which saw exercises all over the Mediterranean Sea and along the various coast points of Israel. It included simulating operations against aircraft, submarines, and above-surface vessels. Participants were involved in maneuvers to protect strategic assets as well as inspections of suspicious ships. Gordon explained that training with foreign navies enhances Israel's readiness and provides opportunities to share strategy and tactics.
Florida Governor Ron DeSantis has announced that he will be visiting Israel on its National Independence Day. It won't be his first time here. Just months after his inauguration in 2019, DeSantis participated in the largest trade delegation from Florida to Israel. Since then, the relationship between the Sunshine State and the Jewish state has strengthened through increased investment by Israeli companies in Florida and by fighting the scourge of BDS. DeSantis said, at a time of unnecessarily strained relations between Jerusalem and Washington, Florida serves as a bridge between the American people and the Jewish people.
Israel has successfully launched its Ophic-13 satellite. This highly advanced observation satellite was sent into orbit using the Israeli-made Shavit launcher from a test site in southern Israel. Just hours after the launch, the Ministry of Defense announced that Ophic-13 had successfully entered orbit and began transmitting data. Israel operates several reconnaissance satellites which provide the Jewish state with necessary intelligence gathering capabilities. Retired Brigadier General Daniel Gold, who heads Israel's Defense Research and Development Directorate, explained that Ophic-13 is equipped with the utmost advanced abilities at the peak of global technology. It constitutes a leap forward in operational and technological abilities for the preservation and improvement of Israel's standing in space for the coming decades.
Soccer's governing body, FIFA, has ruled to remove Indonesia as the host nation for the Under-20 World Cup games after two officials called to bar Israel from the competition. Indonesia is a Muslim-majority country, and it does not hold diplomatic ties with the Jewish state. The move to ban Israel from the event came from powerful politicians. One of them is a frontrunner for next year's presidential election who hosted an anti-Israel demonstration just last month. FIFA's decision to pull out of Indonesia just weeks before the Games has reportedly cost the country hundreds of millions of dollars and has caused a backlash from its loyal soccer fans.
The Weizmann Institute of Science is building a cutting-edge observatory in southern Israel. According to the Jewish press, the Large Array Survey Telescope will consist of 48 advanced telescopes, each with a 28-centimeter mirror, enabling a very wide field of view. Together, they will provide the best sky scanning capabilities in the world, 3 times better than any existing telescope.
Animal lovers throughout Israel mourned the loss of Ruvi, the country's beloved rhinoceros. The Ramat Gan Safari is an animal haven and a huge attraction for tourists from all over the world. It's built on 247 acres of land in the urban center of Israel. It has the largest collection of animals in the Middle East, containing more than 1,600 from all over the world. It's home to African and Asian elephants, giraffes, tigers, gorillas, orangutans, and a whole lot more. Unfortunately, 2-year-old Ruvi fell ill, and despite the best efforts of the zoologists and veterinarians on staff, the rhino passed away last week.
Israeli archaeologists have discovered a 6,000-year-old fishing hook off the coast of Ashkelon. The large copper hook, believed to be the oldest one ever found, was likely used for catching tuna and small sharks. Archaeologists with the Israel Antiquities Authority praised the find, saying that it is fascinating to discover that copper was applied in antiquities for the production of fish hooks for fishermen along the Mediterranean coast.
Pro-Israel legislators gathered at the European Union Parliament in Brussels to learn ways to fight anti-Semitism. The conference, entitled The Multiple Faces of Anti-Semitism in Europe, involved training sessions that provided MPs with the tools to identify anti-Semitism and how to fight it. The event was organized by Combat Anti-Semitism, the European Christian Political Movement, and the Israel Allies Foundation. Josh Reinstein, president of the IAF, was a keynote speaker at the event. He explained that faith-based diplomacy in support of Israel is one of the most powerful tools available to combat the steady rise of anti-Semitism around the world, including its most recent manifestation, anti-Zionism.
Christians in Israel have spent 7 days celebrating Holy Week. Last Sunday, worshipers walked through the streets of Jerusalem carrying palm fronds and packed into the Church of the Holy Sepulchre for services. Others gathered on the Mount of Olives and walked into the city in a reenactment of the triumphant entry into Jerusalem. Celebrations continued with a procession on the Via Dolorosa, services at the Garden Tomb, the Holy Fire ceremony, and the culmination of the celebrations with Easter Sunday.
Jews throughout the world are celebrating the Passover holiday. This week-long biblical festival commemorates the liberation of the Jewish people from slavery in Egypt, as told in the book of Exodus. The Passover story details 10 biblical plagues which afflicted the people of Egypt, culminating with the death of the firstborn son. Passover coincides with the Christian holiday of Easter and the Muslim holiday of Ramadan this year. The city of Jerusalem has been buzzing with activity and bursting with visitors. We at Israel Now News would like to wish all of our viewers a healthy and happy holiday. Chag Sameach.
That concludes the news portion of our show. Stay tuned for Ask the Source with Josh Reinstein.
Hello and welcome to Ask the Source. I'm your host Josh Reinstein, and we're here in our beautiful studio in Jerusalem. My guest today is Hanoch Kass. He's the CEO of Kass. Hanoch, thank you for being on the show.
Thank you to invite me.
Tell our viewers a little bit about what is Kass.
Kass is the first park from many indoor parks in Israel, in Ma'ale Adumim. Kass is, I think, we're one of the, if not the one, nicest indoor amusement park for kids in Israel.
It's really amazing because you're quite the visionary. You went outside of Ma'ale Adumim, you bought a tract of land pretty much in the middle of the Judean desert, and you built the largest indoor amusement park in the world. And now people are flocking to it from all over Israel. How did you know that was going to be a success?
I don't think I'm the genius. I think Disneyland is the genius. When he went to Orlando, to nowhere, and built Disneyland, and we're actually trying to do the mini Orlando in Israel, because it's time that people should come to Israel. We have also what to offer, and also to do some parks that we should be the number one.
You also built the largest mall in Israel, the city, and now you have plans to build a family hotel, indoor water park, all sorts of different attractions. What's the future of this idea? What's it going to look like in the end?
The future is that it's the first time 10 minutes way out from Jerusalem, from the center of Jerusalem, and you in the desert, 10 minutes also from the Dead Sea, and you can do a totally vacation for your family vacation. Come for 5 days. Each day you have a different park. One day water park, one day the amusement park, one day gaming park. What's going to be the largest and nicest in the world. So actually, you come for 5 days and you want to be more and more.
So you think that families from all over the world will flock to here just like they do in Disneyland, or will this be more for Jewish people?
Look, I think it's for the Jewish, they're very happy because it's the first time they don't have to go out Israel. They can stay in Israel because Israel was a bit small about the attractions, and now it's the first time that they can be happy in Israel and to be also proud that they have these parks. But definitely I see also from the whole world coming and being part of it, and even doing a vacation with the families, with the kids. It's already not only Israel, what we know, it's also a family vacation.
Bible-believing Christians support Israel, they stand with Israel. Do you think that this is going to be something that speaks to them? Do you think they'll want to come and visit the largest amusement park and the largest water slide park? Is this something that they're going to come as something on their itinerary as well?
I can tell you it's no question, because even today the first park what we built in Kass, we have 25% is tourists. So this is a large number in Israel for tourists. And no question, they want to be part. I think it's going to be a must destination for each tourist to come in the plan to be by us.
You know, most Christians come with their churches on tours. This could be a pivotal movement to try to get people to come with their families and their children. Do you think that will cause that, or do you think that there's already a pre-existing market?
I think it's going to cause that, because I see we don't see so much Christians coming with the families, and I think this is going to be the first time they have a good reason to come.
You see me and my family are always at Kass. We won't leave you alone, and we love it. And it's interesting because, you know, we go to America every summer and we see what's there. This is more America than America. Why did you decide to do it so high-end?
Because I think Israel is supposed to be, we're supposed to be the number one and to lead everything. And it's time also to give a reason also to kids and also to younger generation to come over to Israel, and not only what we see today.
You're also building this massive hotel for families, not just for 3 people in a room like it is everywhere else, but you can actually have your whole family stay in a suite. Why was that important to you to have the family come together?
Because I think we have to make a larger tourist in Israel. I think we have only single rooms, not many suites in any hotel in Israel. That's why we plan to build 890 suites, meaning 2 bedrooms with a nice living room. And the most thing is to give the comfortable to the family and not to feel like tight. They should want to come again and again. And I think part of the enjoyment, not only the parks, is also where you sleep.
Hanoch, there are literally tens of millions of people watching the show. What message do you have for our viewing audience?
Come to Israel. Israel is not is not only what says in the Bible, it's much more. And I think also the people is very kind. We're very host. We want to see more and more Christians coming. And my part in this whole issue is just to give you more fun and to want you to come again and again, and not stopping to come and to be happy when you come to Israel.
Thank you, Hanoch, for being on the show. And thank you for tuning in to Ask the Source. I'm your host, Josh Reinstein, wishing you a happy Pesach. Now back to the studio.
Up next, the return to Zion with Karen Hayesod.
Shalom and welcome to the Return to Zion with Karen Hayesod. I'm Sam Grundwerg, World Chairman of Karen Hayesod United Israel Appeal, the leading official fundraising organization for the State of Israel. Karen Hayesod is responsible for bringing home tens of thousands of new immigrants every year. Every story is unique. Enjoy as we hear one of these incredible success stories. God bless you from Jerusalem.
In 586 BC, the conquering Babylonians ransacked and destroyed the heartbeat of the Jewish world, Jerusalem. As it is written in the book of Psalms, by the rivers of Babylon, where we wept, we remembered Zion. But from these depths, Babylon's Jewish community blossomed. It produced biblical legends including Nehemiah, Ezekiel, and Ezra the prophet. From Babylon, they preached to the world. By the 1930s, modern-day Iraq had been born. Local Jews, the descendants of Babylon's golden era, were among Iraq's early leaders. But as a campaign intensified for a Jewish state in the land of Israel, dark clouds gathered over Iraq's Jews. They were dismissed from jobs, subject to quotas at universities, and in 1941, at least 200 Jews were massacred in Baghdad. For one young boy, Ron Cohen, the 1941 pogrom was never to be forgotten.
הייתי בן 2 או 3, מבעוד יום עברו הפוגרומיסטים. כל בית יהודי סימנו בחמסה אדומה על הדלת. אמא שלי, כמו לביאה שצריכה להציג את גוריה, פותחת את החלון בצד הבית, צועקת לשכן, אבו עבאס, אני כמו אחותך קומריה, משביעה אותך לארון הנביא. אבו עבאס, השכן הטוב, פותח את החלון, צועק לאט האולוסת. מה אני זוכר? שאני ילד קטן, מועבר לידם של אבו עבאס על הסולם, מוריד אותי לתוך ביתו. כך אנחנו ניצלנו.
But with his brother arrested and tortured, the Cohen family turned to the ultimate refuge, to the land of their forefathers, to Israel. Aged just 11, Ron began the journey alone, fleeing to neighboring Iran.
לאחר שאני חי 4 חודשים בבית הקברות של יהודי טהרן, אני עולה למטוס. פתאום אני בשמיים. אני לא מאמין. אני רואה מתחתיי את העננים ואני בחצי הדרך לאלוהים. איזה כיף. ועוד מעט אני אגיע לישראל ואני אפגוש את האח שלי. למחרת אני מצליח לאתר את האח שלי. והוא בא ולוקח אותי לכאן, לקיבוץ גן שמואל.
He joined hundreds of thousands of desperate Jews from Iraq and across the Arab world. With the help of Karenai Yesod, they adapted to their new life in Israel.
כעבור כמעט שנה, אח שלי יעקב בכלא בבגדד, משתחרר, הוא מגיע כאן לחצר של הקיבוץ, מסתובב, שואל, איפה סעיד רן, סעיד רן? ואני רץ לקראתו, ואני נופל עליו, והוא נופל עליי, ואנחנו מתחבקים ובוכים וצוחקים.
In his ancient homeland, Ron Cohen began to shine. He achieved the rank of colonel during a glittering army career. Cohen became a community leader before commanding a reserve battalion during the Lebanon War. A career public service beckoned, and Ron was elected to Israel's parliament in 1984. He would serve there for a quarter of a century, becoming a champion of the needy and underprivileged.
אני מרגיש שאחרי שברחתי בתור ילד, בן 10.5, מבגדד לישראל, לגן שמואל, הצלחתי למלא את הייעוד שלי כאן בארץ הזאת.
Across the political spectrum, Cohen commanded respect as an upstanding, principled, and dedicated parliamentarian. He was duly chosen to serve as Israel's Minister of Industry and Trade in 1999. But like all great leaders, Cohen knew when to stand aside. Announcing his retirement in 2008, Ron Cohen leaves an incredible legacy. The young boy cruelly uprooted from Iraq became the voice of social justice in the land of divine promise. Karenai Yesod continues to make such remarkable stories come true, inspiring Jews across the world to enrich the land of their ancestors and to realize Jeremiah's prophecy. The children shall return to their borders.
ידידי ישראל בעולם, תודה על מה שעשיתם, תודה על מה שעוד תעשו. תודה רבה.
Let's bless Israel together.
To donate and get information, visit khisrael.org.
And now, Shining Light from Israel.
One cannot get more biblical than visiting Tel Beersheva, the location where Abraham and his wife Sarah and their young son Isaac settled. The city of Beersheva has ancient origins dating back 3,800 years. A visit here is literally walking through the Bible. We are now standing along the biblical city of Tel Beersheva. The Israeli archaeologist Yochanan Aharoni, who excavated this site from 1956 until his death in 1973, unearthed many strata of civilization. The area that they left open for us to walk through and to witness dates back to the First Temple period from the Kingdom of Judah. Archaeologists have several methods of deciphering history and telling exactly what it is that they're looking at. For instance, I'm now standing in a classic Israelite home. It has 4 rooms, 1, 2, and a third one over here, which we really can't see, and a 4th one, which is in the back. Only the Israelites built this way. So when an archaeologist sees a 4-room house, they know without a doubt that they are looking at an Israelite city. The city was divided into 4 quarters. One devoted to everything dealing with the military, another quarter for the governor and the ruling class, a 3rd quarter which was for the civilians, and a 4th quarter which was the public area where all the business and commerce would have taken place. I'm standing in front of 2 of the 4 chambers located just inside the city gate. It was inside these chambers that the elders of the city would have judged the people. This is where all the commerce would take place, as well as during times of conflict, soldiers would be stationed here, protecting the city and its inhabitants. Tel Beersheva is rich in biblical history. I find it to be absolutely amazing that we can come here and walk through the stables that house the horses that belong to the mighty army of the kingdom of Judah. What we have over here is an amazing remain of a casemate wall, which consists of 2 walls made out of mud bricks, and the middle, which is filled in with dirt and rubble, which is able to absorb any high-impact attacks coming from the outside. This would have been a very formidable and strong wall in ancient times. One of the great discoveries here at Tel Beersheva was this 4-horned altar, which was found dismantled and being used in various buildings. It's believed by the archaeologist Yochanan Haroni that it was dismantled during the reforms of King Hiskiyahu, who tried to centralize sacrificial offering in Jerusalem at the temple according to the law of the Torah. Tel Beersheva is located between 2 major winter rivers, Nahal Beersheva and Nahal Chevron, making the water table here extremely high and allowing for several wells to be dug. In fact, many archaeologists believe that it was in this location that Abraham settled with his wife Sarah and their young son Isaac. Tel Beersheva has 2 distinct water sources, one inside the city that we'll explore later, and one outside the main city entrance. This well here was intended to be used by visitors or people passing through. This helped protect the inhabitants from any potential invasions. I'm standing now outside the second water system to Tel Beersheva. Remember, the first one is outside the city gates. This water system, along with the rest of the city, was built nearly 3,000 years ago. The second water system isn't so much a well, it's more of a cistern. The people living here in Tel Beersheva would have diverted water from the winter rivers Nahal Beersheva and Nahal Chevron into this cistern. Then they would have ample water to use during the dry summer months. I hope to see you on your next travels through Israel at Tel Beersheva.
That's all for this edition of Israel Now News. I'm Rebecca Roberts.
And I'm Yochanan Elrom, reporting from our studio in Jerusalem. Please join us again next week for all of your Israel updates.